looking at right now is you guys having the Oklahoma game.
Well, we talk about constant and never-ending improvement. We're making strides every day, every week. We've done some good things along the way. Obviously, we've emphasized playing with tempo, and we've been able to do that. We need to make sure we clean up the little things like technique and being assignment sound.
Is there one thing about Oklahoma's defense that really sticks out to you? That's a huge challenge.
Yes, their size and they're very big with good length across the board. Up front, even their secondary. One of the corners is 6'2", the other's 5'11". So they create, they create some mismatches in terms of their size. Schematically, they create a lot of one-on-one matchups. So as I mentioned earlier, we're focusing on making sure we play with great technique and great tempo and effort.
Just talk about the challenge of offensive line, inexperienced young guys going on the road, possibly 2 freshmen starting as well. Just that challenge.
Sure. Well, again, we've always said they may not be the most talented group, they might not be the most athletic group or the biggest group, but I think our guys have a lot of grit, have a lot of toughness. Again, that's the foundation of our program. So, I like the way they've come out. We've emphasized playing with what we call 63 strain. Every play lasts for 6 seconds. Within that play, you got to give 3 great efforts, and that's how we win football games, and that's how we'll continue to play.
Coach, how much of a concern is just communication out there if you do end up? I know you don't want to give your lineup away, but if Jashawn and Coleman are out there on the right side, how much do you worry about just guys being on the same page in that environment? It's
whoever it is. When you go on the road to an environment like this, we're used to playing in it in the SEC, but it's going to give you challenges. So we've focused on creating a chaotic environment in practice this week with the crowd noise and the music and things like that, and it's just something we've emphasized since day one is communication. So we just got to make sure that we're paying attention to those details.
And through 2 games, just how would you evaluate Jashawn? How much of a pleasant surprise is
Jashawn Robertson?
Yeah, considering how little time he's spent over there.
He's playing really good football. Hasn't had too many MAs. He's playing with physicality, playing with good pad level, playing with the type of effort and strain that we've been asking. So right now he's playing really good football, and I anticipate he'll continue to do so.
How do you feel like your first down production has been, and how important is that against an Oklahoma defense?
Well, our first down efficiency hasn't been great, but we've been effective getting first downs on first and second down. So we've been able to overcome a lack of efficiency on first down with second down productivity. And then obviously we've been pretty productive through the course of the first 2 games with third down efficiency. So we need to improve in first down efficiency. And that's always been a focus of ours.
Is it more important against a defense as good as Oklahoma's first down?
Well, I think against any opponent, it's always going to be a matter of making sure we execute on first down. You don't want to end up in third and long situations, and it starts with staying within the chains on first down.
How do you like where your quarterback is now compared to, say, last time he went on the road, I guess last October?
I like the way he's playing football right now. He's been very decisive, very assertive with the football, making quick decisions. His rhythm's been good. He's taking command. He's had a command presence at the line of scrimmage, so he needs to continue to play his best football as a senior like he's been doing.
And the assets he's showing, it's even more important on the road.
Absolutely. Anytime you go on the road, it's going to provide an extra challenge, and he's just got to step up to that challenge.
Mike, you mentioned a lot of one-on-one matchups. How would you evaluate your passing game against press coverage and one-on-ones that I'm assuming Oklahoma's going to throw at you?
Sure. We didn't see very much press coverage against Arkansas State nor Utah State. A little bit, but not a ton. And sure, we anticipate we'll see a little bit more here on Oklahoma. Our guys have pretty good size and physicality themselves with Marquez and Jason and Josh, and even Alton plays very strong. So, we always challenge those guys that when we have one-on-one matchups, we have to win those one-on-one matchups. We have to win the one-on-one battles, and again, that's been a key.
You seem to be winning them in the red zone better than you did at any point last year. Is that just a year better? Is that an emphasis that created that? Why have you guys thrown the ball better in the red zone?
I think guys are getting more comfortable. The timing and the rhythm's been good. Particularly between Justin and Marquez. Those guys have done a great job of going up and making plays, frankly.
Oklahoma got after Alabama in the Super Bowl with a pass rush. Is this one of the better pass rushing teams that you've seen, do you think?
They're very talented. I mean, in every way. Their back end with their ability to cover, and their front does play an aggressive style of football. So, they provide a challenge, and we need to step up to it.
Mike, when you play a lot of young guys on the line in a hostile environment, first road game, how essential is it that you kind of get them calmed down early and kind of get into a groove early so they're not panicking?
Yeah, at home, away, whatever it might be. When you're dealing with young players, that is key. Hopefully now getting into the third game of the season, yes, it's our first road game, but hopefully we've shaken a little bit of those butterflies or things that might arise for first-time players. But yeah, you got to get into a rhythm. You got to get going. That's always part of any game, especially when you're on the road.
Have you seen that in them this week, kind of approaching this the same way they did the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, this is obviously, you play an opponent like Oklahoma, the intensity steps up a little bit, and it sure has.
Are you expecting to have Ethan Wolf, or do you know yet?
We don't know yet.
How are they doing with just stuff like cadence when it was coming, just making sure they get the snap off the right time, nobody's false starting?
Yeah, it's always an adjustment. But again, we've worked it a ton. We're out there on the practice field, and I can't hear the guy next to me. So we've made sure that the verbal communication, the audible communication, is nearly impossible, and that we're relying on the visual indicators and things like that.
Given the importance of teamwork on the offensive line, how much of a concern is it that this could be your third starting line in three games?
Again, all through training camp, we've shuffled those guys in and out, and they have a good chemistry, so I wouldn't say it's a concern.
You've coached at Oklahoma before, right?
Never. I've never.
You've not.
I coached against them in Cincinnati. They came to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that helps you from having coached against them before?
Well, they're a great program. I know Coach Jones has talked about it. They're the model of consistency that we would like to be. And again, Coach Stoops has done a great job of building that from the foundation up. It was a different coordinator defensively when we played them last time. So schematically, they're quite different. But their style of play hasn't changed, and they have a lot of talent. They play hard. I know offensively they play fast. You're playing one of the best programs in the country, and it's a good challenge for our guys.
Are they schematically similar to Utah State? Do they do a lot of the same things?
Yes.
What's that do for you guys, just having gone through it? Certainly
Well, there's enough differences that they definitely cause you to tweak some of your stuff. But it is good from a front standpoint that we've seen that week one.
Basically, I guess what's the same and what's different? What do they do?
How they play their nose guard and their defensive end is similar. They're 3-4 base personnel, and that's the similarity between them and Utah State.
How about Grissom in particular? He's a guy for their defense that looks to be kind of a big play machine out there on the edge a little bit. How much does he stand out on?
Number 85, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good. You look at their defense and you don't. We use the term is there a fish on their defense? There's no fishes. They're quality across the board. Grisham's a really good player, and up front all three of the starting line, and they're deep too. They roll in a bunch of guys. Again, we talk about making conditioning a factor and using our tempo to our advantage. And they do a good job of rotating guys in and making sure they got fresh legs in there. So it just provides a greater challenge for us that we need to respond to.
With them having a guy on the nose who's almost as big as McCullers was.
He's a big man.
Season, with obviously, you look at just the size of the three guards that y'all have on the first team, it's not much of a comparison. How much of a concern is that?
We've always stressed to our guys you need to play with good pad level and good leverage. A guy like Robertson, who was a wrestler in high school, he understands that. They all understand that. So when you're dealing with guys with height like that, you got to make sure you play with great pad level. That's one thing I've noticed on video. They knock a lot of balls down at the line of scrimmage because they have such a great reach and such great size. So, again, we've emphasized that since day one with all of our opponents, but it becomes particularly relevant with guys of their stature.
Did you see that?